I was like hanging on to my last $800 from that last paycheck. And I booked a $5,000 client. She said that my proposal was one of the most expensive ones she got.
And you still booked her.
And I still booked her. That really gave me a boost because it was no longer about money. It was about the value that she saw in the project. It has nothing to do with the skills because my skills are pretty similar. I think it was more the understanding myself and what I know I can do. And, at the end of the day, the client is not the expert in that. You are.
Welcome to the Unapologetic Designer Podcast, where we chat controversial design topics and expose the raw truth about life as a designer. Welcome back to the podcast. I have a guest here today who is a current Design Biz Academy University student. She has not even graduated yet, and I had to have her come on the podcast because she has had such a huge transformation already. So, Veronica, do you want to further introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you. My name is Veronica Melendez. My business is Venue Studio, and I'm happy to be here.
So how did you get into design? How did we end up here?
Well, long story short, I started in college for fashion design, and after 7 years, bachelor, associates, and 4 years trying to run like a little online boutique and closed down and failed and crashed and burned. I kind of reconnected with graphic design after kind of having like a shift of professional paths. Obviously, money was tight, so I went to education. So I was an art teacher for 2 years in high school. And I honestly hated it so much, but I did connect more with graphic design because I was having fun making like the Canva lessons, it was like a quick, easy, good looking presentation, and it would help kind of catch the student's eye too. So after that, my brother suggested, like a friend of his has a business, and he was like, "Hey, could you do a logo for him? He has like a bartending business." Then we do like a little brand kit. It had the color palette, logos, like 2 or 3 different logos, like variations and typography and all that stuff. And I kind of had so much fun doing that. And I started looking more into it. And that's when I said like, okay, I want to do this. And I started looking for ways to improve my skills.
So were you still teaching at that time? At the time you were also starting up your design business?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you come to the conclusion like, all right, this is what I want to do full time? Like, did you charge for the logo and everything you did, or did you do it completely for free?
So I did charge him $200 for the entire brand kit or brand identity. There was no strategy behind it. It was mostly just like the visuals. So I was a teacher by then. I think this was fall 2023. And I just fell in love with it so much. Like the whole process, I started looking for other designers online to kind of see what we're doing, like how to improve it. And then I learned about brand strategy, and it's like, okay, this makes sense. And by January 2024, our school usually asks, are you returning to the next year's school year? And after a long conversation with my husband, I was like, I really hate it. I would go crying in and out from the like school, like on my way there, on my
Oh
way
my
back.
God.
Yes, like high school is hardcore. And, not everybody takes art seriously. So it's
Hmm.
hard. And I had 7 groups, 30 plus students on each class. It was hectic. So it was also kind of like messing with my mental health, like, well, I spent 7 years in school for fashion. I didn't do anything with that. I fell out of love with the industry. I'm here because of need, not because of passion. And then I found something I felt like that spark for. And honestly, I have to admit, I'm blessed to have a husband that can help me and support me on that side while I run the part of the business full time. So after conversations, I decided, okay, let me just give it my all. And after May ended, I was like, bye. And I went,
Peace out.
see you never. I mean, I still have, I'm in contact with other teachers and they support me and everything. I even do like the stickers for the art club fundraisers. So that's fun way to keep in touch with that. But that was it. Like I started, I was doing logos here and there. And then in May, I kind of said, okay, get your act together. And I started looking for more ways to improve. And then I found your profile. I really don't remember if it was Instagram or TikTok. I was mostly more in Instagram. So I'm going to say Instagram. And eventually everything led to uh, the Reflective and Marissa. And I was like, oh, them. And here we are.
Here we are. So, at the time that you found DBA, I mean, this is all kind of happening pretty quickly. Had you
Mhm.
booked like a big client yet, or was it still just kind of like low hundreds, jobs here and there, nothing really concrete?
So after that $200 project back then, after I've learned the brand strategy and kind of had more to offer, I was still kind of doing like social media projects for my dad's business, and he would refer me to people. I had one person that I did a logo and everything to kind of propose to them. There was no contract, so that was my bad. There was nothing there. They loved it. I presented in a, like a screen sharing. They loved it. They say how much I owe you. I was gonna tell them $200 again. They just ghosted, and I still have that project with me. I never delivered anything.
Oh my gosh.
So after that, I tried to keep going in, but I've never charged anything else aside from that.
Basically, you're working on getting clients. It's not sustainable yet. Maybe not the best process. We're not using a contract. But
Yeah, no
and
contract, no systems, um, no confidence, a lot of
and
that.
when you found DBA, I remember getting on the consultation call with you, and we both could tell, both Coach Marissa and I could tell you really needed this. But it was also kind of very, I think, hard for you to commit, being that, you hadn't booked any big ticket clients yet, and you were kind of in this state of maybe not knowing the next step. So talk to me more about making the decision to even get on that consultation call. Like, were you prepared to even join DBA, or were you like, I'm just going to do this and see what happens?
Honestly, so the way it was is that obviously I consumed all the like content that TVC, you, Marissa had to offer for free, and I saw the value there. And I've already learned something from your free content. So I said, let me see if I can like learn something else. And I got to the summer sales camp, which is like a more self-paced program. It's shorter. I think in a month I finished it because I had nothing else to do. I'm just looking for improving my professional development, to maybe learn something to get more clients. So I was like every day I would woke up and work on that and do the assignments, and you would give us like feedback, give me feedback. And I really loved that part. And I was like, if this is just like 150 or $180 program, what could I get with a big full on 3 months with close knit group with the coaches? So I was sold in it, but at the other, like you said, the financial part was really sticking to me because when you're a teacher, your last paycheck from the year that ended is on August.
Mm.
So I've have discovered you guys around summertime, I would say early like May, June. So right about the time that I've ended school. So I was stretching out my paychecks. And I remember in the call, I was like, you don't need to convince me in this call. You don't need to tell me all the great things I'm going to learn because I feel it and I know this is going to be good for me. But then I was like hanging on to my last like $800 from that last paycheck. I was like, I have to do it now. First of all, because I don't want to keep dragging, reaching my best potential in the business. And obviously, well, if I'm worried about money now, imagine when it's higher. So I just want to make sure that I get the best thing. And I remember my husband was like, hear them out. And then we just discussed. So I walked into the kitchen. It's like, I took it. I was like, I just did the payment plan. Sorry, but I took it. And he was like, okay. Like he's very supportive. So I'm glad that that always works out. And I've always felt like I have the freedom to do whatever it is. And it's not like a, like usually I'm not just shopping for clothes. I'm actually improving my professional development. So it's always worth it for educational purposes.
So, talk to me more about once you joined and you were going through all of the assignments, all the coaching calls, what was your emotional state? Like, what was your mindset like throughout that time?
When I started, I definitely had some confidence issues because I was so new to the industry. It's like, I know how to design, but how am I speaking to my clients? Like I am the expert. And that was one of the biggest things for me, like showing up with confidence. And, I had break a little bit of my shell on the previous program, which is a lot of like content creation and how to kind of appear online. So also seeing that other students are going through the same thing kind of helped me feel like, okay, I'm not the only one. This is not a me problem. This is like us problem that we're working together. And the coaching calls really helped me get that, like get out of that mindset that you're not like professional enough or you're not an expert or you're new or why you're charging this much if you just had 1 year in the industry, all that, or those lies that your mind is telling you and people around you also telling you that don't know anything about all the work that we put into a project. They just see us appear one day out of nowhere with a beautiful brand identity project and they think that we just sat down and made them. And maybe someone could, and you should also get paid for that 1 day project. If you can achieve that in 1 day, that means that you're incredibly skilled. So it's just that mind shift and learning that we don't have to like fit into anybody's mold or idea of what we should be charging. It's just it's different. And also talking to each other's on, like, we have the Discord channel with other students and we're like pumping each other out and hyping each other out. Like the environment is just, it feels safe. So it's good. It's a good learning environment. There's no competition, and US coaches are very like clear about that. Like this is a zero criticism space. We're not gossiping. We're not going to be comparing our work. We're just going to be here to learn and support each other. And that's how it's been since day one. And then the mindset lessons that we have, like the call scripts. Honestly, one of the things that I personally have seen is how capable I am of doing the things you're telling us we can do. It's not just I'm learning. It's like, I know how to do this. I just don't trust myself enough
Mm-hmm.
to show up as I know it and to believe that I know how to do this. So I think the biggest mind shift for me is I know I can do this. And I know I'm an expert and I know how to talk to my clients. And, it is a different thing. And even my dad, which I basically coach for his social media, like boomers, baby boomers are more like, let's just put this together. Like, hey, we have a brand. Let me just help you. And
Get
he's learning a
cohesive.
lot. Yeah. And he's learning. And, he's also shown a lot more trust in my opinions. Before he was more like, I don't know. And I was like, trust me, I'm a whole different person from May.
And you recently had a major breakthrough, which is why I wanted to bring you on the podcast so soon. Can you share what that is?
Yes. So a month ago, I had an inquiry because there was a referral, and I booked a $5,000 client first big project. It's for a brand identity, like visual and strategy, and then social media strategy as well. And it's been great, honestly. I think all the systems and the way we show up and my whole mind shift has been the key to booking my client. It's been how I speak to her. It's been how I show my process to her. It's been how I talk to her about what she needs and how the solutions. And to be honest, this was a 3-week long process until we talked and then she booked, but it was worth every day. I was stressing, but I was like, God, please, I was like, God, if she's going to say yes, just say it. Or if it's going to be a no, just let her tell me no so I can move on, but it was good. And obviously I talked to Coach Marissa about this opportunity, and she one of the things I was really scared of was like the following up.
Hmm.
I think I'm annoying, like I know when salespeople are annoying, and I'm not doing it the same way, but still it's like I don't want to be pushy, I don't want her to like feel like I'm bothering her so much. And honestly, at the end, she was like, I'm glad you were like following up because I completely forgot to see that last message you sent. And I wanted to, and when I saw your video, because that's another thing, she said that my proposal was one of the most expensive ones she got.
And you still booked her.
And I still booked her. And it was really, obviously this experience also really bumped my confidence and how like my professionalism and everything. Because one of the things that she was like wondering about, it was like, what's brand strategy? And she was like, I have two other proposals, but I wanted to ask you first, what is a brand strategy? And I was like, okay, either she doesn't have two more proposals, or these designers are just offering like the visual part and nothing else, like looking pretty and that's it. So I was like, let me just put together a little presentation of what is it for, what does it include, why is it important. And I was talking, how you can do like a presentation and have like a little circle on the bottom and you're talking while you're
Hmm.
presenting. So long 7-minute video. I sent it to her. She basically didn't see it for 2 or 3 days. And I was like, Coach Marissa, what did I do? Like, she has not responded. And she's like, follow up. So, like, I followed up, very friendly. Like, I know you're busy, but I want to be able to take care of you and your business. And you have these goals and blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh my God, I'm sorry, I forgot to respond. I really loved your proposal. And then I had sent like alternative packages that were slightly less, like there had like different elements that were not included, like brand, like social media strategy or collaterals and all that. So I had like a second call explaining everything, and she was like in love with everything. And the video, she said she saw it twice and that she saw so much value in it. And the only thing was that the number was a little bit out of her budget. So after I gave her like three options, I asked her, which one are you more interested in? And she said, well, the original one, which is the highest one, and the one in the middle. Internally, I was like, so you do want everything in the big one. You're just worried a bit about money. So from 6,200, from 5,000, I was like, I can manage that lower number. So it was more likely like, I'll give you this because one of my values is like, I want to be able to support them. So if I can do something on my end to support them, obviously without sacrificing myself and my business, I will. So we did like that agreement, and she was very happy with it. She was going to talk to another designer she had been waiting like a proposal from. And at the end of the day, the other designer, I think she didn't have the time to do a brand strategy for her. So at the end, she just chose me, and that really gave me a boost because it was no longer about money. It was about the value that she saw in the project. And I don't think I would have achieved that level of confidence or preparation or even the way I talk to the client and manage a call if it wasn't for the things I've learned during the course. And it's funny because I had the call right after our script call practice, coaching call. So it was like right there on time.
Perfect
I got
timing.
that. Yeah, I got the little coaching on the call script right before our call. So it was exciting too.
Before DBA, what would you have quoted for this?
Probably like 800 or $1,000.
I'm so freaking glad that you joined and you booked this big client. And yeah, I mean, I think for a lot of designers, the skills there, the design skills are there. It's just about having that confidence to show up and be the expert and sell yourself and having the know-how to position yourself as an expert that can
Mhm.
make all the difference because you probably could have been booking 5K clients before DBA. It's just that, you
I
didn't.
didn't have the confidence. Yeah. Honestly, if I was thinking about this, so one of the things that I was very impressed by was the way that I felt comfortable during those calls, during answering all of her questions about the process, about the deliverables, about the pricing, about the brand strategy. And I know that if I didn't have that confidence built already with the program, I feel like I would even have turned it down, like before I even got to, or I wouldn't even accept the referral. Like I would be all synced in that imposter syndrome, and I would be like, no, that's too big for me. And
Wow.
it has nothing to do with the skills because my skills are pretty similar. In 6 months, it's not like you can improve, but it's not like it's not like a year or 2 years of skill improvement. So I think it was more the understanding myself and what I know I can do. And, at the end of the day, the client is not the expert in that. You are. And often we think that they know everything and they're just testing us. And that's not the case. If they knew everything, they wouldn't be delegating on you for that, I
Yeah.
think.
I need you to know how rare it is to see someone make such a big jump from $200 to $5,000 is honestly incredible. That's not something we see very often. Like it's usually more of a gradual progression. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that maybe you've had so much success jumping like such a big incremental amount because it was mostly mindset for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I I think also seeing other designers with similar skill sets charging so much more, it was like, why am I not doing this? I'm not looking at them and saying, oh, why are they charging that? No, it's like, why am I not charging that?
Yeah.
Because I truly feel like I was asking for too much, and that's because I wasn't seeing how valuable my time and my skills are, and that really changed everything. I don't feel weird saying the number 3, 5, $6,000 anymore. If I would say 2000 6 months ago, I would be like, Joyce,
Hmm.
well, 2000, and like, what, 800? And yeah, the emotional discounting, and even for the $200, I was like, oh, let's say this in case, expecting a rejection from that. And I could definitely do more with that brand. There's no strategy, there's just visuals. But I was a complete different designer by then too. I was very new to everything and the whole like terminology. And now I'm working on my social media presence mindset, which is something that I'm really looking forward to. I feel less intimidated, as I mentioned before, in the camera. I wouldn't be able to look at myself. I would just hit post and throw the phone and just, I don't want to see it. And then my husband will be playing. And I was like, I don't want to hear myself. Can you believe that I wouldn't want my husband to see the video? It was so cringy to me back then. But I've learned a lot and I felt more comfortable. And now it's funny because my family is like, oh, here comes the influencer. Like, well, if I don't do it, I don't get clients. And I haven't gotten clients from social media yet, but I am definitely the way I manage and I am managing this client. It's been great. It's been really like refreshing. It's giving me a really great boost with my confidence and I'm ready for more.
10K's next.
I got it in my sticky. You know how we did a 4,000, and when I reached that 5,000, I was like, it's time to change that number.
Yep, time to move the goalpost. Do you have any advice for someone who thinks I have the skills, but like they don't know they have the skills? Like maybe they're sitting in that imposter syndrome place where you were at. What would you say to them?
It's just your mind playing tricks on you. And one of the things that I've learned so far is that what we think people are thinking of us is never true. It's our fear of people thinking that, but nobody's really looking at your work and saying, oh, look at this person, so skillless. Oh my God. Like, no, they're actually is about to see what else you can do. And the more you show up and show your work, that's how they're gonna actually learn your skills. And also building a community, if that's something that that will help you. It did help me a lot because I was, working remote, fresh from the school. My husband works also full time on the other side of the house. We don't really talk to anybody. And online, it's hard to make friends. I'm from Puerto Rico. My family and friends are in Puerto Rico. So all I have is whoever I need. And just by joining free groups, for example, TBC has a free group on Facebook that you can connect with other designers. They share struggles, they share tips and tricks, they share their posts just for you to see and support. And that really makes a difference. Like community is another big thing that helped me get through it. And and eventually you become like a little family there, like we continue this relationship from now on. And it's been really great. I think community and keep showing up. What your mind is saying is not true. It's just that fear of being judged. I know I felt like everybody was judging my post because I have failed a business before and now I'm doing brands. Like what, like that. I want to be able to say, no, this is the real thing now. And I'm sure that if I knew this before, my previous business would have survived. But don't let it happen to you. It's a mindset thing. I've had that business for 4 years and my mindset really destroyed it.
Wow, that's powerful to have that
Yeah,
realization.
yeah, definitely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast and sharing so openly about like your mindset shifts and your thoughts and everything that led you to this point. Where can people connect with you online?
Thank you for having me. My Instagram is Vemi Studio, and you can also see my portfolio and website on vemistudio.com.
If you want to hear more designer success stories, go ahead and subscribe to the Unapologetic Designer podcast. If you want to join our design community at the Brief Collective or enroll in Design Biz Academy, information on how to do that can be found in the description.